Good morning, everyone. Let's see here. It is April 14th. I hope everyone had a great weekend. All righty, let's see what we've got going on here. We've got TikTok going. We have X, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble going. I think we're moving in the right direction. We are waiting for the gentlemen to get here so we can bring them on. Let's see here. All righty, so everybody, let me know where you are located so I can say good morning. We have Captain Beard here. Good morning, Captain. Kingsgirl 1974 is here. Good morning, Kingsgirl. Sheila is here. Tammy is well from West Georgia. If you are on X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, give us the thumbs up sign and send us a message in so we know that you're here. And let us know where you're located. Say hello. Let's hear. Okay, let's see. We are still waiting. Donna Fox, one of our subscribers here. Good morning, Captain Graybeard, Gulf of America. Isn't that the truth? Dana Mackey is here, one of our subscribers. Good morning, Dana. Miss Jan in North Florida is here. Daddy D, one of our subscribers, and I'm glad you got my message, Daddy. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Let's see here. All righty. Let me see who we have. If we have the guy yet, stand by, everyone. Oh, looks like we got James here. Righty. Good morning, Share Baby 29. Glad you could make it this morning. I'm glad you had a good birthday weekend. That's great. Let's see. I'm trying to find Mega Dave. Hold on. I think I got him here. All righty. Good morning.
Morning, Sam.
How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Good.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave.
So are you in the tractor?
I am in the tractor right now. Yep, back and forth on 150 years here.
So you can't show us because they'll flag you, right?
Yeah, I'll put a background on it, shut off a few things. It'll be fine.
Oh, I just like this.
Yeah, I can show you. Hold on.
Real quick.
Let's see here.
That was quick.
That was really quick. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Wow. That's incredible, Dave.
Go. Just getting into this. Yep.
That is incredible. All right. Well, everybody, so just so you know, Dave can't leave his camera on because they could flag him for inappropriate behavior or something. That's why he's not doing that. Let's see here. I don't know if Alex is going to make it today. He said he had something he was going to try to, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's see here. Let's see. We've said good morning to Share Baby. We have, let's see. Richard Ennis is here. We have Kendruta Cecilia. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, Kendruta, but I'm Scratch 65 on of our subscribers. Captain, it looks like you're pointing to Jen, but I don't see her in her. Otherwise, I would bring her up. Maybe she can send me a request. Let's see. I think we have Adam here. Hold on, everybody. There we are. All righty. We've got Adam here this morning. Good morning, Adam.
Good, guys. How we doing?
We're just getting started here. We're just moving in here. Oh, wait. Here's Jen, I think. Stand by, everybody. I'm trying to get everybody in here. All right, Jen. I think I sent you the invite. Martin's Honest Reviver. We have Traveler, one of our subscribers, is here. Good morning, Traveler. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. Good morning. Stand out. Stand by. Good morning.
How was your birthday?
What I just did. Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
didn't know what I was doing. I was like upset because I'm 41, so don't blame me for crying. I'm like a hot mess.
Oh, you are. You're younger. Are you kidding me?
Bags under there.
It's only downhill.
I had to get cucumbers.
It's only downhill from there.
Oh, that's classic. Oh, well, I'm glad we made it here. Donna Fox is here. Good morning, Donna. 80 Deuce is here. Good morning, 80 Deuce. We're not going to wait for Alex because I don't know whether he is going to make it or not. So let's start with James. Let's get anything pressing this morning, Adam, that you want to discuss before we get going here?
The only thing I'm going to mention, I'm going to start off lighthearted here. Something very sad was kind of announced last week. The headquarters of In-N-Out Burger is being moved from California to Tennessee.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In-N-Out is it's my favorite hamburger place. And my
So you're
kids
saying
love it.
there's a chance we might get In-N-Out in Iowa? Is that what you're
There's a chance you will probably get it because the owner, she's moving it to Tennessee.
Oh, well, all right. I guess she has her
So, like I
reasons.
said, it's sad but lighthearted. So I know we've got some other stuff we're going to get fired up into later.
Right, exactly. So PJ Party Girl is here. And she said, PJ Party said to you, Jen, she said, "Oh, girl, I wish I was that age again."
Well, you know what? I don't know what to say, party girl, but I feel like I'm 1,000 years old. It's okay. It's all right. It's just, I'm like 9 more years and I'm going to be 50. Like, come on.
9 years. Come on.
Disrespect to anybody in here, but come on now. I'm not going to have to. Thank God there's dental insurance. That's all I know.
Oh, stop, would you? All right. We have Christy B, one of our subscribers, is here. Good morning, Christy. PJ Party said they're a family-owned and Christian company, meaning In-N-Out. That's correct. They are.
Yeah.
I'm married to Bob is here. Good morning. I'm married to Bob. Share Baby 29 said, "It's okay, Jen. My birthday was Friday and I turned 46. You're still a baby."
Happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday, Share Baby.
We'll cry together, Share Baby.
There you go. Exactly. All right. James, since we don't have Alex today, we're going to start off with the military wood.
Okay. Well, as always, we're still doing our thing in Yemen as China be their military. It's led on to something that President Trump. I don't know if we're aware that he fired the old chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. His name was General Charles Brown. They fired him with no explanation, but it has something to do with some of his political belief. And they put in General. They pulled this guy out of retirement as a 3-star general, John Kane, new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Yeah, and let me interrupt there. You know what his nickname is, right?
Yeah, I do. It's go ahead and tell him.
Raisin Kane.
Raisin Kane. So they gave him his 4-star. He comes on. He gets majority vote at 59 to 26, and they did something overnight. They had to do that is because China's building up their military power down in the region, and they didn't want to go 2 weeks because our Senate is out for 2 weeks for Passover and Easter. So that was the big to do to get him. He didn't want to give China 2 weeks of lead time, and they bring on some firepower with this guy. That's a big move. He had served for 34 years, and now he's on board again to star.
Right.
The other part that to me is troubling is kind of like toll roads. The Pentagon is looking at privatizing commissary and exchanges. And
Interesting.
That's a shocker because it takes away more jobs from governmental employment. So they're tightening anywhere they can.
Right. Well, it makes sense. But what's interesting is they raised the Department of Defense budget by $150 million this year, right?
Yeah, they did. But you've got to think about what they're trying to do with repowering the military. I mean, operations with an F-47 is not a cheap venture.
Right. Exactly. Hey, Lisa Maria, one of our subscribers, is here. Good morning, Lisa Maria. So, any comment on that military movement?
You know, I'm never surprised going on. I am surprised though at how fast things are moving. I mean, we got that military movement. We've got the border going on where they've now got that whole buffer zone, which I know we're going to touch on in a little while. But I'm still kind of shocked. It's actually looking to, if I've heard this correctly, that they're looking to retire the F-22. Is that right, James?
Yes, sir. That is, the F-47 is going to replace the F-22.
Yeah. So I know we're gonna be diving into some more of this a little bit later on, so I'm gonna hold back on some more military.
Okay, sounds good. Dave, any thoughts on that?
No, that's interesting with the military. I know they're moving and shaking, but I'd imagine there's a lot of operations going on, especially with over east and dealing with Iraq. So.
Right. Jen, coming from a perspective of a 41-year-old mother, how do you view this military move based on what we've been talking about?
I like the thought of any old high brass coming back to like any high brass school coming back to like,
Yeah.
You know, it's. I have 41 stuck in my head. Don't do that to me.
What?
You said 41, and that's all I keep thinking about.
How old are you?
Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to be serious.
I thought it was 41.
She's 41.
She is. She's just having a midlife crisis.
Oh.
What I said was I like the thought of any old school high brass come back to the administration, but you said 41 before that, and I'm sorry. I'm disrupting your life. Don't listen to me. Okay?
That's okay. That's all right. My apologies for throwing you off your game there.
No, not at all. Don't apologize. It's okay.
Okay, so Donna Fox, thank you for all the gifts. Only the Schwoglers, thank you for all the gifts. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. So, Dave, are you able to give us a farming or agriculture today?
Yes, I can.
Go right ahead.
The USDA said last week is planning to get rid of 12,000 employees out of Washington, D.C. And it makes me wonder, are they going to do the same thing to that and give it back to the states like the Board of Education?
Ooh.
I mean, well, it could be. You know what I mean?
I wonder.
That would cut a lot of.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they're also there was some. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. They're talking about school lunches and some other stuff. You know how the farm bill and stamps are tied together.
Yeah.
They're looking to utilize some of that for the flu epidemic that's going on. $1 billion on that.
Wow, interesting. Adam, what do you make of that?
I think again we're seeing more and more of the shakeup of what's going on with the administration. They're taking the pork out of it to put it back where it needs to be.
Right. I agree. And I agree. Over on Facebook, we have Isabella Mary saying, United we stand. Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely, I agree. Captain Graybeard, thank you for the gifts. Captain, if you want to come on, just let me know. I'm not sure that you're in a position to do that. Marilyn is here. Good afternoon. Jeffrey is here. Good afternoon. John Gwynn, welcome, and thank you for sending the gifts. It's appreciated. All right, jump into, let's see here. First up on today, Lisa Hallman, who is the Connecting Anons over on X. She's on Telegram. She's everywhere. She does a lot of good reporting. And she said that President Trump answered nearly 20 times more press questions at 3 cabinet meetings than Biden for years. Jen, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, you're going to have to skip me. Go to Dave. He's laughing. Come back to me because I can process this.
Okay, Dave, what do you think?
I mean, is that really surprising? I think they did one meeting with all this stuff one time, and I think Jill ran that meeting, if I remember right.
Right.
That's not surprising.
Right. Adam, what are your thoughts?
All I can see is the stumbling up the stairs when I'm reading that. and I know this ties into the other point you're going to make here in a little bit, but the physicality and the mental acuteness of the previous seat warmer, it just goes to shit. I mean, all it takes is one cabinet meeting with President Trump to more than triple what it did in 4 years. Is just, if it's not so blatantly obvious that he was just the seat warmer, that's literally all he was.
Right.
It's just sad.
James, what are your thoughts?
It's not surprising when a man that's wearing so many different hats in administration is so transparent. They could add 100 questions and he'd be able to answer them all. The guy, he's got the playbook. He's the captain. He knows exactly he's taking the team down the field, and there's going to be a touchdown. And so it doesn't really matter what they throw at him. He's so resilient. He's going to be able to handle anything.
Exactly. Dana Mackey, the traveler. Thank you for all the gifts. Susie Kabluzzi, Susie, glad you could make it. Thank you for the gifts. Joe, 4547. Hello, fellow patriots in Pennsylvania. Marilyn, thank you for the gifts. Scratch 65, thank you for the gifts. 80 Deuce Jeff, one of our subscribers, he was answering questions the other night at 2:30 in the morning on Air Force One. So true. My gosh. Wow, it looks like 80 Deuce Jeff just gifted 5 subscriptions to people on TikTok. 80 Deuce, thank you so much. What a blessing. Man, you are right there with us. Thanks so much, 80 Deuce. It's appreciated. And I'm not sure how those get distributed, but thank you. That's all I can say. Oh, boy, we got a universe. What is that?
Galaxy.
A galaxy. I'm not sure who sent that, but let's see here. Oh, it was 80 Deuce. God, 80 Deuce, you are the best, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so let's move over to Zero Hedge. This is going to be really interesting, everyone, because U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, issued an updated guidance late Friday on exclusions from President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. They commented on the executive orders and the exclusions, wide range of electronic devices, including smartphones, laptops, and related components. Now, this is by far a 5-dimensional check by President Trump. I don't know where he's going with this. I'm not really sure why he's done it the way he has, but I find it very interesting that China panties in a bunch since all this started taking place. They're going to be impacted in a positive way by this. I don't understand why he did this, but I'd love to get every one of yours opinions. So go ahead, Jen.
If he's making sure that we get what we need and wants.
Very good point. Very good point. Adam?
Well, I would have to say that's probably tying into the other news that all of a sudden China's now tattling the big multinational corporations, where they're saying, hey, look, all that stuff that said was made in Italy or wherever else was really made in China, and they're called the middlemen and offering it where you go direct. They're even cutting now Amazon. So all these big high labels like Louis Vuitton and all these others, they were really made in China for nothing, and it was labeled and everything else. So they're kind of outing these corporations, and I think that's where Trump's going. We're getting to the point in the root of things here. So,
right, I agree. What are your thoughts?
Well, they're also talking about China's getting backed up with supply and shipping boxes and ships, and they can't move it. So they're feeling the heat. Trump decided to do that. It's interesting. Obviously, it's to help us and to help the American people. So,
right, of course.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Right. James?
Well, the first thing they did was, in light of the coming on board, they put 5 plane loads of iPhones in the sky, got them here before the tariffs were imposed. So I don't know if President Trump's playing a little bit of a game. It kind of seems that way. And I go along with what Adam has to say about, they're tattling on everybody, saying, hey, guess what? You guys have been spending $1,500 for a person. We actually made for $7.
Right.
So they're casting some bad light over there. I think this is all part of the scheme, part of the why we're doing what we're doing.
Right. And Captain Graybeard said $30 for a handbag that costs $1,300 to make. Now, in terms of cost of making, hey, Glenn just extended his subscription for 6 months. Thanks, John Gwynn. Appreciate it. Love having you here. So when we talk about, let's just say, the cost of iPhones. Now, I've heard different reports that iPhones cost in China is somewhere between $5 and $20. They come over here and they're selling them for $1,000 or $1,500 or what have you. I wonder, this migration from other countries moving back to America, I wonder how that's going to affect the pricing. I don't know whether we're going to expect the same level of pricing or whether or even an increase. I'm just kind of curious at this point. James, what do you think?
Well, it's basically ripped off. We're paying tariff rate, and they're upcharging. We're basically wasting money. So when we put the tariff on, and China says, "Hey," they're basically telling on themselves. So we're saving money either way.
Adam?
The fact that we've been paying these ridiculous prices for so long, if you think about it, we've been funding our own demise, if you will, economically. And now we're starting to correct that again. I mean, the thought of an iPhone costing $20 to make, and I'm paying $1,200.
Right.
And I've got 5 kids, 4 have iPhones, and you know what I mean, it starts.
It's just a little baby factory over there, isn't it?
Oh my!
Yeah.
It's insane, and it goes to show what China has been doing: manipulation of the currencies and the trade, and all the imbalance that has gone on is just been atrocious.
Right. I agree. Jen, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to bring back manufacturing at some point. And my other thing with this, that does this mean that when us women ask for a Louis bag from our men, they're not going to say they're expensive anymore? Oh! Now you have no excuse because it's going to be cheaper.
You're going right for the heart, aren't you, Jen?
She went nuclear on that.
She did. She did.
Ladies, did you hear that down there? We're getting more purses for our bucks.
So, I mean, I think we're going to get employee pricing on handbags. Is that what we're going to see here?
Yeah. Well, who knows?
Coach bags again.
Who knows?
Oh my
Dana
God.
Mackey, a subscriber, said, I'm in automotive, and China is turning shifts with parts around. Wow. Thank you for the info, Dana. Let's see. Boy, there's a lot of comments on the bags. ShareBaby29, a subscriber, said, can you imagine getting LD purses for $100 each? Wow. Rolls said, we've been getting ripped off by the corporations for a long time, and Trump is trying to solve the problem. Very much, very true. And Rolls also said, let alone the cost per month to activate these phones. Very good point. 80 Deuce Jeff said, question is, are the companies here selling them the markups? Very good question. I'm wondering if that's not going to be exposed coming move forward. Paco said, U.S. markups are insane. Again, I think that goes back to the corporate elite, the globalists. They've had control for so long, and they are losing that control if they haven't already lost it, in my opinion. Let's see. We have ShareBaby29 in response to your children's situation. Adam said, I've got 3 kids and I'm broke and I'm losing my prayers for you, Dark Horse. Hang in there, get better.
Hey, at least 2 of the 5 are adults. One does work for Tesla, so they're pulling their own at this point. But
Right.
yeah, thank you.
Right. Mama Soprano is here. Hey, Mama. Look, it's here. I thought I saw his name. Hold on, everybody. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, he said he's here to mess up the order of the boxes.
Yeah, that really screws me up every time, Alex. Hold on. go. Okay. Hey, Jen, have I made you a mod on the channel?
No.
Let me do that right now before I forget.
Listen, I am the best mod you will ever have in your life.
Yeah. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
What would I be if I was not the great disruptor of Sam's life?
Oh, God. You guys, it's hard enough having one screen with the Daily Dispatch notes, another screen with the TikTok chat, and then my iPad with everybody on here. Not having Alex in line with everybody just throws me for a loop. So everybody bear with me.
Look, you're right next to me now.
Yeah, they. All right. I'm gonna.
Starting to feel like the Brady Bunch again.
I'm gonna try. Exactly. I'm gonna try. Hey, Alex, how do I make Jen a mod?
He's like, don't do it.
Yeah, do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
Her name,
What's
and then go to the little dots. Once on her name, you'll see.
okay? I think I got it here. There we go. Hold on, everybody, about that. I'm trying to get. There we go. Okay. All right. I think you are now, Jen.
All right.
Does that look right?
Well, you got to type something and it'll show a little white dot behind the name tag.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't help. I meant to say hello.
Okay, good. All right. Marilyn said, Lex, and where the hell have you been? Oh, no, I added that part. Sorry. So let's see here. We've got, okay, Marilyn, Nick, 2321. Thank you for all the gifts. The real Alex. I'm here to mess with the order of the boxes. Boy, isn't that, you just know how to throw me for a loop, don't you, Alex? All right, so since we're out of order here and I'm discombobulated, hey, look, excellent. Alex, since we've already moved in, let's go ahead and update it if you're able to. Stock market, crude oil, crypto, gold, silver.
all the good stuff.
Yes, please.
So it would appear there was a dip, but we're still positive. So S&P is up 12, Dow is up 66. Nasdaq is currently down 15. Crude oil sitting at $60 a barrel. Gold sitting at $3,220.
Wow.
Per ounce.
Wow. That is just crazy. What do you make of that?
It was even higher over the weekend. I think I saw 255 or something like that. It continued to rise. So,
Wow.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
Yeah. And where are we at on crude oil?
$60 a barrel.
Okay, so it's staying about constant. What is silver at today?
I'm sure it's still around 30, but I'll tell you quickly. $32.29.
So it's gone up a little bit. There is so much chatter all over the newsreels about the COMEX and the that may be happening. There's a couple of people that I follow. One of them is named Feisty Cat. She is a super decoder. She's military intelligence, and she's thinking that they're going to crash the COMEX. And if they crash the COMEX, or when it crashes, we are going to see all hell break loose in the precious metal industry.
Well,
Go ahead,
you
Adam.
want to take a look at the debt clock on this, Alex and Sam. Look at the debt clock and see. You look where it says contracts of however many to silver to gold, and how many contracts you've got per silver, and how many contracts you got per ounce of gold. That's representing how many contracts, paper contracts, there are to that one gold.
Wow.
So you've got, what do you got, like 130 or 180 on silver, and so you think that there's about people that think that they own that same ounce of gold or that same ounce of silver, when in reality it's a paper contract. So you crash out the COMEX, you're going to crash out the naked shorts on them. Short squeeze. So what will end up happening then is you're going to see a valuation where, look really what your dollar to silver ratio is and your dollar to gold ratio is. That, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that's really where you're getting a more accurate number for gold and silver when that happens, when they crash that out.
I would agree with that.
And the great words of Sam Who, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, exactly. John Gwynn, subscriber, said, does Louis Vuitton truck seat covers?
I wouldn't be surprised.
They do.
Well, if they don't, they're probably going to start now.
But I'm so after video now, so interesting conversation around tariffs and the actual manufacturers of things like the bags we just mentioned are now coming out and saying that it's the same places over China that are creating those things for the named places, and so that brings into question the fact that you're paying $1,200 for a handbag that cost them $7 to create, but they're bitching about tariffs.
Right. Exactly. Jane
So
Whitaker.
If I buy name brand, if I buy name brand, I'm not really getting name brand. Just getting name brand sourced through China.
Exactly. Jane Whitaker is here over on Facebook. Good morning. Let's see. So Glenn's gas is so expensive in Illinois. Well, based on what we're seeing with the crude oil, I think that's going to drop everywhere in the country except one place. You know where that's going to be? One place? California. They're bumping our taxes up another 50-60 cents a gallon. We're paying $4.79 right now.
Isn't it cheaper in Hawaii?
I have no idea, but it's just ridiculous. And the heat that this guy Newsom has got to be getting increased tenfold because we got to get him the hell out.
Sam, you're gonna be paying more in that yard than for the gas.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Bayutica said medicine will be exposed next. Yes. Oh, and let me make an announcement here, everybody. So we are going to a special live broadcast this Saturday, Pacific time, and we have some incredible guests. We have Dr. Peter Glidden, we have Dr. Julian Neal, and we have Pat Miletich. How do you pronounce that? Miletich. He is a former UFC champion fighter. He is working with agriculture to clean up soil, and we're going to have all of them, all three of them, this Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time on all platforms. Join us for it.
Sounds like a band in the making.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't get the names right. So
No, not BAND, BANNED.
Oh, band. Oh, gotcha. I hope not. Gosh, I hope not. Steven said Washington is also ridiculous on gas. Susie Kabluzzi said, Sam, we need to get rid of Newsom. I'm with you, Suze. We got to get rid of that guy, and I'm sure it's coming. I think there are forces being exerted on him from the federal government, in my opinion. I don't know when we'll see it, but I think it's coming. All righty, we have Stop the Madness. Thank you for the gifts. It's appreciated. Stop the gas in Hawaii is $4.40. My God, the gas in Hawaii is cheaper than California? You've got to be kidding me.
Our gas is $3.39 Pennsylvania.
Okay, why don't you rub it in a little more, Jen?
Oh, I don't know. That's how I am.
Then I won't hit the high mark here is $3.30 and $2.99 here in Utah.
Oh, you know what? I think we're having some trouble with Adam. We're losing his feed. All right, so next, let's go to the next subject. Okay, so Neil, who's coming on Saturday. Well, actually, before we get to that, let me do a sponsor announcement. First up, MyPillow, Mike Lindell. He is recovering well. Please, more prayers for him and good thoughts. Go to enter in the discount code SAM and get up to 80% off your purchases. Neil Naturopathic, Dr. Neil, will be with us on, has the only chemical-free organic hair care products on the market that I'm aware of in America. If you go to samshow.com, click on the hair products button, use the code SAM20, SAM20, and get 20% off your order. And also Dr. Peter Glidden, who will be with us on Saturday, if you have shothoop.com, click on the button that'll take you to his website. It is a plethora of health and wellness information. And also, if you'd like to purchase his new book, you can do that from my website and you'll get a 10% discount. And then as important as any of those is our cybersecurity. So Alex, will you give people a little run?
So just another sponsor, an organization, Risk Technologies. That's risktooltech.com. What Tooltech does is helps you staff. Wow, I didn't type that correctly. It's not Risk Tech. So Risk Tool is a software service, a platform that you can use to train and test your staff on their cyber awareness.
Excellent. Thanks, Alex. A lot of people were talking about gas. Aaron Rodriguez said, yes, 549 where he's at in California. Stop the Madness said 269 in Colorado. Texas Realtor 2 on Texas. Martin Honest Revival 299 in Georgia. Sherry 257 here. Melissa Flinner 309, but I don't know what that is. Tom Bondinero 265 to 309 in Iowa. 853 319 in Florida. Wow, there is just Lisa Maria 289 in Nebraska. Wow, there is a lot. Gwen, thank you for the gifts. Eastern Ohio 319. Daddy D, a subscriber, 319 in Illinois. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's coming down, but other than every place other than here in California. So, Share Baby 29, 329 here in Michigan. Whitmer is raising our tax also. Gee, she's got to go. Well, I think she's under submission now because of her little interlude with President Trump at the White House. So we're going to move to the next subject. And the next subject is Bill Maher. He came and we went to the White House. He met with the president. And I, for one, was shocked on his response. Now, here's some inside information. Dr. Neil, who's coming on the show, on one of his closest friends just happens to be Bill Maher. And so I get a lot of information from him, and the public persona of Bill Maher is much more aligned with the left than you may actually find interesting. But when he was with President Trump, he said that he found him gracious, measured, and attentive. Now, I personally believe that this is a way for the Patriots to start to steer the ship even more to the middle, if not to the right. But I was shocked to have Bill Maher come out and say that. You know, he's become more and more conservative over the last couple of years, but for him, this was significant to me. Alex, what do you think?
I go forth and back and forth because while he has great things to say in the same sentence, he will bash. So, I think that until you get to know the man personally, the only thing that you have to base him off of narrative that's pushed. And I think that being that individual in maybe, knock on wood, begins to interject some critical thinking about our president and gets people to maybe dig a little deeper and look into him from the perspective of the narrative that's been pushed maybe not being accurate.
Right. I would agree. Jen, what are your thoughts?
Well, I had to, make my little donation here. So Bill Maher is an ass-kissing brown noser. The only reason he made those comments about Trump after that dinner is because A, he's of something, or B, he sees the massive support behind him. He's aging for the clout to help his numbers and rating out.
Now, was that from you, Jen, or from somebody else?
No, that's from me.
Wow, that's strong.
So I've been doing my research and I've been watching all of this stuff and watching your posts and everything. And I've been trying. I write it down. I have it right here in front of me.
I'm impressed. Good girl.
Thank you. I'm learning.
You very well.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Absolutely. Adam, what are your thoughts on?
Are you proud of me?
You know, I think this is there's a couple things here, and I mean, definitely agree kind of with what both Jen and Alex have already kind of said, but a little bit of a different perspective here. The fact that Bill Maher he essentially ate crow to the bleeding heart liberal side of his fan base, saying, "Hey, look." He even illustrated that President Trump had enough of a sense of humor to sign the paper of indulgence. Just goes to show that President Trump, even though we see is what he puts up there, there is so much more of a human element to the man. Stories of like when he's back on The Apprentice, of one where he had a flat tire in the limousine, and those people stopped, change it for him, and then they end up with the title to their home. There's another one where you see this young that he's got a terminal diagnosis, and he gets a birthday card signed from President Trump. President Trump is human, but he's calling it what it is. And to see the conversation with both Bill Maher and the president to sit down and say, "Hey, look, you know what? We can't have a conversation. We can agree to disagree, but the fact that you're going to be honest and have some lighthearted side about it, I think on both sides."
Right. Well, it looks like Trish agrees with you, Jen. She said Bill Maher is a chameleon and untrustworthy. Dave, what are your thoughts on Bill Maher?
Well, in that same breath, I think Trump keep your enemies close, right? But I mean, if you look at all the anchors, you look at some of these left-leaning talk show hosts turning and taking Trump in a little bit more. Bigger picture. Is there something else going on?
Right.
You know, it seems like even Bill Maher, it surprises me that he's even accepting to take an offer to go in.
Right.
You know?
Agreed. James, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting that I find that he questions the mental capacity of President Trump in one way or another. And I find it really coincidental that yesterday the president underwent his annual physical, and they found him to be completely normal. So I think in one breath, he's had a Sunday physical from his doctor in lieu of some of the suggestions that President Trump's not over, and you've seen it over the last couple of weeks that they're questioning his capability as a 76-year-old president.
Right.
And in this yesterday's physical just goes to show that he's a full faculty.
Right. Exactly. D. Strange. Rocco said that his father was Hugh Hefner. Now, I don't know anything about that, but it wouldn't surprise me. User said, I think he's guilty of something. Well, yeah, I would tend to agree. Joshua S18, the Red Shoe Club. Oh, that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we're not going to go down here, at least not on this platform. But I understand what you're saying. John Gwynn said he did agree with a lot of Trump's policies, which is shot from the left. Yeah, John, I agree 100%. I was shocked that he was so pleasant about his meeting with President Trump. But again, I think that he either under submission or seeing the writing on the wall and is trying to get on the right side of history. Hey, Miner's here. Miner for all the gifts.
Quite frankly, I just want to take a moment here, Sam. We need to recognize the significant event that had happened in the United States yesterday. This young lady next to me, Jen Tuck, had a birthday yesterday. President Trump personally called her, saying her happy birthday. I need everybody in the chat to please wish Jen Tuck a happy birthday. It was just birthday yesterday. She's the greatest, quite frankly, not as great as my hair. Greatest.
Exactly. Let's see here. Mama Bear, she said, Bill Maher is a flip-flopping and wants to be everybody's. There's probably some truth to that. Mama Soprano said, Trump has not ever been accepted in the elite circle At heart, he is a good boy, good old boy with lots of money. 365 said, oh, sorry. Well, I lost that one. Sorry about that. Pamela posted, Trump has more energy than most 10-year-olds. Boy, isn't that the truth? That guy is like the Energizer Bunny.
It's funny. He only sleeps 4 hours a night and works 20 hours a day versus Biden work 4 hours a day, 20 hours.
Right, exactly.
Don't lie. That dude didn't work 4 minutes a day.
Right, exactly.
That's why folks there, Alex.
So Stephanie Richardson, Valerie James, Renee, Kimberly, Aaron Rodriguez, King's Girl 1974, Chrissy 1974, Mama Soprano, Kim 55, a subscriber. All of them are wishing you a happy birthday, Jen. Tracy Fag, birthday, she says as well. Daddy D, Jen Talk, happy birthday. Lisa Maria, happy birthday, Jen. Susie Kabluzzi, happy birthday, Jess Romano, happy birthday, Jen. See what you started, Alex?
Thank you.
Intentionally.
Exactly, exactly. Jenny from the block, happy birthday. All right.
Thank you.
Look at the next story here. We have President Trump. We're going to start with James on this one because it has to do with the military. President Trump just authorized the Department of Defense to militarize the Roosevelt Reservation along the U.S. border in California, Arizona, and New Mexico. This means that the 60-foot buffer zone on a 700-mile stretch border will now be considered military property, and troops can seize illegals and hand them to Border Patrol. What are your thoughts, James?
Pass. First thing they have to do is claim territory. So they claim territory. It becomes a military zone that we have the right to defend. It can be taken to what do they call that? Max force. If they have to use tanks, cannons, Apaches, they can seize the moment. And it's not just that 60 feet. It could be all parks or any public land that's around there. It's more than just the territory by the fence or by the border wall.
Yeah.
It can go out into parks. And it's 500 acres or 10 square miles. It doesn't matter. It's still a military zone. So it's going to go into California quite a ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabe, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting because when you talk about that and the cartel's main moneymaker stuff across the southern border, I mean, what's the next step on this? And as James says, we're going to bring down and use whatever it takes to stop that.
Right.
Well, then it should go to me, my damn.
Looking at my answers, Alex.
Okay, Jen, what?
Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution provides Congress authority to raise and support armies, to provide and maintain a navy. The U.S. Constitution continues to shape the conduct of the branches in the armed forces that you can see today. But George Washington, who went on to become the nation's first president, was a proponent of a life of military service, and the purpose of the military constitutionally is what? To defend our borders.
Right.
This should have been done long ago. It's been so over, and I'm surprised people didn't think about this when Trump was in his last term. Put the wall up. That was just the first thing. He was putting the barricade up. Now we're in term 2, and now he's doing exactly what you just laid out.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
Jen.
and
Oh, go
think
ahead,
about
Dave.
that. Remember, Congress counting the money for the wall in the first administration, but they sent $200 billion over to Ukraine, and we could find out.
Right. Right. Jen.
Are we talking Native American reservation? Define what reservation we're talking about here.
James.
We're talking about the area right outside the border wall. Okay. Any public land that can, even a park that the United States controls, if it says U.S. Forest Service on it, is now a military zone.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know what just happened here, everybody, but my entire computer just blinked out on me, and I reboot. So if you would just give me a second here. Alex, you want to admit while I'm doing this here?
You don't look a day over 29, Jen.
Okay. Okay, I'm back on. That was really weird, man. All of a sudden, my laptop just went away, and I had to reboot the computer to get it back on.
Next time, unplug the mouse and plug it back. Let's again go back to what the military's true purpose and what it was designed from the beginning, and that was protect our borders. And look at the oaths that people take when they join the military, when they step into a position in our government. It says
Right. Tina Velkova over on Facebook said that she's Uzbekistan, but now is here in America and likes the show. Well, welcome, Tina. Scratch 65 said, hopefully it helps to slow the cartels down. I would agree. Hey, Nana, glad you can make it. I'm married to Bob's here. Hey, I'm married to Bob. Scratch said, Native American territory is exempt from that. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, exempt from what. Maybe a little more in detail on that. Let's see. What about you with this whole militarized Roosevelt Reservation?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now with the cartel and stuff like that. I mean, I'd imagine they're not very happy right now.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. Yeah, for sure.
Flip your camera, Sam. People are freaking out.
Oh, shoot! I forgot to do that this earlier. Sorry, guys. Better?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gee. See, Alex, when you don't come on first and you're not in position on the screen, look at what happens.
If I showed you my desk right now, you'd understand.
Oh, I could imagine. I don't get very many opportunities to bust your chops, so when I get it, I'm doing it. Wow, we got a dinosaur on here. That was cool. 80 Deuce. 80 Deuce. Tranny 2 is T Rainy 2. I'm so sorry, T Rainy. I must have been calling you that name for weeks now. I'm sorry, T Rainy. I'm glad that I got squared away with that. My apologies. All right, let's see here. Next up, lawmakers have passed a bill that prohibits public schools from punishing students for refusing to use preferred names or pronouns. Alex, why don't you lead off with this one?
Oh, man. Common sense, folks. Common sense. We cannot let the minority dictate precedents for the majority. And I think we're seeing that play out over and over and over in the current administration's policies and what they're doing.
Yeah, agreed. Jen?
Men! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Exactly. Adam?
The fact that we even have to put a law or a bill into place for this is just mind-blowing. I mean, I guess going along with having to reinstall common sense, which hasn't been so common for some time, but the fact we even have to do this, I mean, you think about it, and it goes to the violation, I mean, of raw constitutional rights of every man, woman, and child in this country.
100%, I agree.
Yeah, it's literally insane that you have to do this. But I guess if they don't, then you both put the law in and you cut federal funding.
Right. James?
This bill for Montana was particularly aimed at transgender students. If I'm reading this correctly, is that correct?
No, it was they passed a bill keeps schools from punishing students for refused preferred names or pronouns.
Okay. Well, you guys, you've taken. I'm going down a different study path on that. I'm not gonna comment.
Okay, no big deal. Captain Graybeard said, "Make state-run asylums great again." Oh my gosh, very well stated, Captain. 100%, I agree. Susie, thank you for all the gifts. Dana Mackey, thank you for all the gifts. Let's see here. We have T. I still feel terrible about calling T. Rainey train. T. Rainey, I'm so sorry. God, that's just terrible. So we're gonna move.
My face does move because
Trainee too.
I know, God. Oh my word. All right, so let's move to the next story. We have Arizona to begin removing as many as 50,000 non-citizens from voter rolls following a lawsuit. Now, there are many other states doing this. The state of California was sued. They were sued by, I'm forgetting the name of the group, but it was an alliance of voters in California. They sued the state of California and won. And they were suing the state of California again, and Judicial Watch, Tom fit in and helped them, and they sued them again. So now we have Arizona doing the same thing. Adam, what are your thoughts on
This is just going to show how more of the common sense it's having to be fought. We're having to straighten up these law books. We're having to straighten up all these different things yet again. It's again, this is that cleanup process that where we're having to exercise what our responsibility is as Americans, and that's just kind of where I'm at with this. These states, I mean, Arizona's got has had such corruption in it. It's kind of the California, in my opinion, that I've experienced, but it's been under.
what was the only county ever mentioned on that other board?
What, Maricopa?
Exactly.
Maricopa.
Exactly.
Because I had to go and fight with them when I was working on those projects down there for those solar projects, and it was like walking into a firestorm. So it's clean up.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right. Jen?
it's called the right thing, fixing the previous administration.
Exactly. Alex?
It's more than just the previous administration. This is decades. And I think we're witnessing a return to the Constitution. The press secretary said on live television, constitutional republic.
Right.
Back to reality.
Yeah, exactly. Dave, in your head, yes.
Well, it makes me think, okay, yeah, we're getting these guys off the voters' rolls, but can we realize for the 2020 election? Find out who they voted for. Is this opening up a can of worms on that deal?
Well, we have to expose 2020, and it's coming.
I think it's going to go back as far as 2016.
If they dig deep, Alex, it's going to go back farther than that. Yeah, exactly. 100%, I agree. James?
It's a shame that we have to tie up our courts with these very type of things. Look at all the different lawsuits. How are we ever going to get the time to hear them? They have so much corruption. They have so many things on the books. Time's going to pass and it's going to be forgotten about.
Yeah.
They might decide on something being sued yesterday or last week, 5 years from now.
Right. Mama Bear. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
Interesting nerd fact. If you look at the top 5 IQs of the founding fathers, John Quincy Adams, 175. Thomas Jefferson, 160. John F. Kennedy, 159.8. Bill Clinton, 159. Like Woodrow Wilson, 155. Ulysses Grant, 130. Like George Bush, 128. These are numb people on both sides of what's what's been going on for a very long time. And when we start trying to articulate to the masses, like the depth of what's Tulsi Gabbard is going to divulge to us about the history of what is the foundation of this country, which is the ability to elect officials. They've been real smart about it for a very long time on how to usurp the system. So it's going to take for us to untangle that knot.
Right. Agreed. Hey, Lee Daniels here. She said no jurisdiction or authority. The league is separate from U.S. the living. And that's a whole other thing. As soon as you're able to come on, Lee, we're going to talk a little bit of straw man, and we're going to talk a little bit about what took place in 1871, what took place in 1913, and now it's all those. So as soon as you're out of jail on TikTok, then we would love to have you on. Let's see here. Captain Graybeard, thank you for the gifts. DNB06, thanks. Traveler, thank you for the gifts. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here now with, as we talked about a little bit already, President Trump going through the medical examination and being fully fit to execute his duties. I mean, what a contrast between the falling down, stumbling, mumbling, and me in the seat that was there prior to President Trump. What do you think? Start off with us.
I'm going to go last.
Okay. James?
Well, come on, Alex. That's no. As time has passed, and you hear the criticism and people calling out, they have left no stone unturned when they're pointing the finger. And I think that this comes out at just the right time. Somebody did comment earlier that his physical was Friday, but his health came out and it's dated yesterday. I think it's a time for us, because they question, okay, well, is he all there? Is he to be the president? And answered question, yes, he is.
Yeah, I agree. Blonde Ron first said, arrest all Democrats and arrest the rhinos, replace them all on trial. I agree. And he also said there's no way a Democrat got elected for years. Very true. Once that takes place, it's going to go way back. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Well, I know President Trump. I wouldn't be able to keep up with him if I was an assistant. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd be like, I'm going to bed. But
Right.
I guess in the same breath, I don't base a lot off the deal because they said Biden was okay.
Right.
We all knew better at that point. So,
Well, I don't even know if it was the medical people he was okay, or it was the spin doctors. But Adam?
What was it, the first 90 days that Biden, and he basically just shat his pants in the first 90 days of office? I mean, come on. I mean, literally the reports of the Secret Service going, this man is not all there.
When have you ever seen somebody fall upstairs is what I want to know.
Yeah, no.
my wife does too.
No, you're inebriated at that point. I mean, come on.
I'm not. I don't even drink.
Hey, I just gave it out, Jen, all right?
Yeah. Jen, what are your thoughts?
His resume speaks for it all. He's solid as a rock.
Right. Mama Bear said, we can see with our own eyes, Trump is just fine. Lisa Maria said, Trump is a badass. His devotion to our country is so inspiring. So absolutely true. Nannert agrees. Yeah, I agree. And now, Alex, you want to last?
USConstitution.net. The link over on top of that site is Constitution for Kids. And if you don't understand it, it breaks it down for third graders, or it can break it down for 4th through 7th graders, 8th graders. So depending on where you are on the scale of understanding the Constitution, I think some of the people that have been commenting today probably start at the 3rd grade level.
Right.
Those of us that are in the know, I think what's happening when you look at tariffs, the dismantling of a world economic conglomerate to put us back in control of our own monetary system. When we look at what the framer of the Constitution had in mind and moving us to a constitutional republic, it's going to take time, and we have to be patient. Deep breath, understand the big picture that's happening. We all tend to get a little impatient, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, you have shown your support for us. I'm a little disappointed. It's Monday, and we only have 10,000 likes because I really wanted to see a Monday dance from that gentleman in the top box. If we can get him to 250,000 followers, he's going to of an American flag live on this forum and many others. So continue to support him. We appreciate. We appreciate.
Yeah.
I'm paying for the tattoo, but we got to get him to 250K. And
Come on.
support him on all platforms. We appreciate Sam's Daily Dispatch. We appreciate Sam bringing us red-blooded Americans together to have conversations about these things. We appreciate all you, the viewers, and any questions and comments have, the kind messages that you guys have sent me personally. I know Sam gets them. Side note, Sam will not message you blue unless you message him first. There's no QFS investment. Buy it on the TikTok shop. The comments and prayers for my mom, much appreciated. Let's all go out and kick some ass for this week on the month. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. So, Jan, thank you for the gifts. So we've covered everything on the Daily Dispatch. It looks Alex has already given his final thoughts. So why don't we go to Adam for final thoughts?
All right. Well, I'm going to continue with the theme that I've had so far. So here's the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Guarantees several, including freedom of speech, religion, the press, and right to assemble and petition the government. Give it some thought as to what that all means. What
Yep.
does that give? We're just starting off there, folks. So I hope I can help out with there at least to start off.
Right.
USconstitution.net if you don't know.
Right. Dave, final thoughts?
Just excited to see what the week is. I think keep an eye on China, keep an eye on the tariffs, see what happens there.
Good. Jen?
Mine is a little cheat sheet here. Because I'm studying. John F. Kennedy, this is from his 1961 inaugural, I can't say that word, speech. Inaugural, I can't.
Inaugural.
Okay, let's just get some point. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any prayer, any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. Amen.
Well said. Well said. And finally, Jan?
Well, I think it's important that we all keep an eye on our neighbors, treat everybody as good as you can, invite them to dinner, be generous, love our neighbor. It's we got a lot of good stuff coming, and I think the positive mental attitude everybody is going to do nothing but create harmony in everyone. And then where I'm at, I like to laugh, and I think having a good time with your neighbors, it's, when you lose your eyebrows, those are the kind of things.
Exactly. Alex, do you have anything else to say before we sign off?
I love trolls.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I take up free rent in your headspace.
Oh my gosh, I'm having an earthquake right now, guys. There's an earthquake hit. It's right. Yeah, there's an earthquake right now in California.
I'm seeing.
Oh my, it's a pretty big one, guys. It's still going. Holy, guys, that went on for about, usually it's 2 or 3 seconds. It went on for at least a good 10 or 12 seconds.
6.5.
Is it a 6.5?
Erin, my sister's in the chat here. She felt it too out there in the high desert.
Wow.
I'm looking right now. Hold on. Earthquaketrack.com. see how long it takes them to update.
Yeah, we're staying on for this one. I mean, how often do we get an earthquake during our dispatch?
That's fine.
Oh, John Gwyd said, Sam, I saw you shaking. Pin said that was huge. Aaron Rodriguez says,
6.0 in San Diego County.
holy, that's a size one, you guys. That's a nice size one.
I mean, that's in San Diego.
Yeah, so that's
Not
about,
bad.
that's 50 miles from where I'm at.
All right.
Blonde girl said, I thought he was dancing. DNB06 said, I saw that too.
It's 3 kilometers from San Diego County, registering a 6.0.
That's a good size shaker, you guys.
Listen, Interstate was just saying about his eye. You were shaking because I thought you were going like this. What the hell is going on in my phone? Because I thought my phone
Followed
was
up just now by a 5.1 in Julian, California.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you don't hear from me for a while. Send out a search party.
Oh my God.
No kid.
Wow.
My sister's 3 hours north. She's, from North San Diego, and she's feeling it.
Wow. Blonde Ron first said, my daughter's in San Diego on the military base. I hope she's okay. 80 Deuce said, what's up, fellas? And Jen, I'm working and listening. Glad you're here, Deuce. Joy said, I got the alert immediately. I'm in Vegas. Wow. Okay, so they felt it in Vegas too. T Rainy too. I got that right this time. That's the mountains. Share Baby 29. Stay safe, Sam. John Gwyd said, it's Newsom. Exactly. Lisa Maria, thank you for the kind words. Thank you, everybody, for the kind words. So, all right, so I guess that's it. I guess that was God said it's time to end the broadcast. We're having multiple earthquakes here. But as everybody has said, as always, keep your head down. Know that we're moving in the right direction. Lots of good things are happening. Get outside, get some sunshine, breathe deep, hug the ones you love. And Alex, is there anything before we go?
I'm watching. They're trickling up and down the West Coast. 2s and 5s. That San Diego one was pretty legit.
Yeah, I could say I felt it. I'm my iPad shaking, and I looked up, and the ceiling fans were moving, and I'm like, oh my God, we're having an earthquake. But a 6.0 wouldn't have even got me out of bed. The 6.5 and above, yeah, you know, it's like this normal here. But the 6.5 or the shows we've had, those ones are scary. In fact, one time I was in Desert on the 30th floor of the Hilton. This is years ago, and a big earthquake hit. This was the one in like the 80s or I think it was mid 80s. And I was in bed. I get out of bed, and the bill weighing so hard that I was trying to put my pants on, and I couldn't keep my balance. That's how big it was.
Couldn't get your foot in the pan.
I couldn't get my foot.
Okay, so now I'm at UC Berkeley EDU. You've got they've downgraded San Julian 5.1, 5.1 San Julian. So that's San Diego.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
What's a big one? Like, what's a big one, Sam, that will like shake you out of bed?
Like a 6.5 or above. Because when it comes,
what was San Francisco's, like an 8? Was that a
I don't
7
really know.
something?
I don't know, but the
The
one
Remember
that
that one when all the bridges collapsed and all that?
Nimitz Freeway,
Series,
I think that
World
was
Series?
6.8. That was 6.8.
you know, it's interesting. It was back in the early 70s. I was a kid. It was the biggest one we've ever had in California in my life. And the strange thing about that one was you hear this growling noise before earthquake hit. It sounded like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like multiple fighter jets overhead. It was a growling noise. And then it started to shake. And then it was a rolling where you could literally see furniture moving up and down. It was the craziest thing. That was by far the most significant one I've ever been in.
Snakes and spiders. gentlemen.
What's that?
I'll stick to snakes, spiders, and alligator before I do that.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
It's all the same. You know, over here, it's just, oh, yeah, we got a 5 point. Oh, okay, great. Sometimes I don't even feel them anymore.
Yeah, it's like, if you're in the, go out and look at tornadoes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not want to be in a tornado. No, thank you.
Right.
All right, so if anything major happens because of the earthquakes, we'll jump back on later today. But otherwise, everybody, 10 a.m. Saturday, Health and Wellness Live. Tomorrow, we are going back to the 9 a.m. Live. The noons just didn't work out for all of us. So 9 a.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. on Saturday. And everybody, if I'm still here, I'll see you all tomorrow.
See, that's, yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Take the eyebrows right off.